Well, good morning internets, here we are. We got ourselves a start to another day. It's been probably the best part of a week since I vlogged. Been a little bit of a rough one, but I guess it is what it is. And yeah, welcome to our vlog, so here we roll. Well, the last time I vlogged, I think I was out at the trailer and I loaded up tubs. If I didn't, then I apologize. But anyways, I had these tubs and containers and stuff that I wanted to bring in from the trailer that I kind of jammed in there last fall when I moved. And there's no point in leaving it in there, and I can't leave it in there, and I can't take it, don't really need to take it with me on the big road trip, so I loaded the truck up with everything, and of course, me being me, I brought it upstairs to the apartment here, and it was a little more than I probably should have. And then the next day I was feeling rather energetic, so I took a walk in the park, which kind of combined with the weather change, with overdoing it the day before on the trailer, with the walk in the park kind of threw me on a little bit of a downward spiral. Well, over the last 4 days or so, it's been a bit rough. I've done what I could and didn't do what I shouldn't, and it's kind of worked out. Well, yesterday I went out to the trailer and decided to fill the clean water holding tank, and it's 33 US gallons, which I forget, it's like 123 or 24 liters or whatever it works out to. And I was gonna buy 5-gallon pails. Well, I remembered that, of course, in the apartment here I have a water cooler, so I have 2 jugs for the apartment. And they just happened to be both empty at the same time, which kind of worked out. As well as I had 2 what I'm gonna call dirty jugs that sat in the shed at the house for a few years because I couldn't return them. So I cleaned up those jugs, so in total I had 4 jugs, which is about 20 gallons or so. And I went and filled those up and started to fill the tank, holding tank in the trailer. Well, I was under the impression that once you put the battery in the trailer and you have 12 volts, there should be an inverter that turns the 12 volts to 110 to charge your cell phone or run a simple 110 plug-in or a lamp or something, right? Well, unless there's a switch somewhere, this trailer doesn't seem to have an inverter. And the only way to get the plugins to work is either to be plugged into shore power or to have an alternative power source like a generator. So, that being said, I had to go and get some fuel and break in the brand new generator for the first time, and it was kind of nice. I've never had a generator in general at all myself, or had the privilege of using one, and when I was around them, they were usually the hard starting generators that required you to pull them like 100 times before they'll even turn over. So this one here, you turn the key, she fires right up like a good generator should. Then, of course, I was able to use the pump and empty the jugs out into the tank. Now, of course, I probably could have just attached a garden hose onto the end of the jug and held it upside down, let it drain into the tank. However, I'm trying to make things a little bit easier on myself before the trip and on the trip, because if I did hold 6 jugs upside down, well, they gravity drained, it was going to hurt, and I know it was going to hurt because, well, everything does. So that's why I got that pump, to take the strain out of it. Well, by the time I started the pump and made sure it was pumping, walked to the truck, grabbed another jug, which was only about 15 feet away, pulled the top off the other jug, and got it ready, it was almost to the bottom. So the flow rate on that pump is quite a lot. It would probably be enough pressure and enough flow rate that a guy could have a barrel, maybe a 20-gallon barrel, plastic barrel of some kind, that he could hook up and have himself a shower without having to use the holding tank in the RV and fill it up prematurely, right? So it's kind of got me thinking, right? If I can use that pump for other uses besides just transferring water. Well, today I need to go back out to the trailer and fire up the Jenny one more time and test to make sure it'll run the AC at full capacity. I would have done it yesterday, however, my wonderful expert advice that I was given from the retail store Canadian Tire was wrong. And the adapter that adapts generator to RV cord they got me was wrong. So I guess I'm back on the hunt with short time to go to find that last piece. We'll make do with what it is, and there is an expensive option. I can go with a $150 generator cord and then use the plug that I bought that fits the generator cord, adapt to RV. But I really don't want to buy that expensive cord that's just going to spend its time coiled up in the box of the truck, because I'm basically just using it as an adapter to go from A to B to C, and if I can get around that for 20 bucks or 30 bucks, it's far better that than, a $150 cord. Especially a single-use, cord, right? So today, got some things to do. Got to empty out the other 2 jugs. Need to check the air pressure in the trailers and make sure the AC works, and put the gauge on the propane tanks, and just some odds and ends. And really, the preparation is close to being done. Just buy some food, pack some clothes. And then when the time comes here in a bit, I'm going to hit the road. Trying to decide if I want to leave a week or so early, or if I want to stick around for a little while longer. I do still have that personal project that the shop's working on for me. It's not done yet. They had said 3 to 5 days, and that was last week. So I was kind of hoping it would be done on Friday. Then I could take it to the paint shop today, but at the same time, hey, there's always delays. If it's not done by the time I leave, then I guess they're just going to have to put it on a shelf till I get back, and we'll deal with it later, right? Because it is what it is. So, gonna get off and running today. Got a few stops I want to do. Got to work on the old trailer. Get some loose ends tied up, some things rolling and going, and it'll be what it is. So we'll catch you all later. Well, hello internets, here we are. Little bit of a afternoon update. Well, went out this morning and did my running around that I needed to do. Returned that 4-pronged RV adapter and got the correct one, which is a 3-prong 30 amp twist lock to RV cord adapter, whatever the technical term is for that. Well, was filling up the tank with the other 2 jugs that I had, and water started leaking, so I got looking where it was leaking from, and it turns out that there's an overflow on the tank, because I found that out the other year when I was filling it up at the house from the garden hose, that when it gets too full, it must be a pressure thing or an overfill thing, so it didn't like leak in the trailer. It just spills out the container down a hose on the ground. So There was half a jug that didn't get used in the tank, but I guess, you know, no problem, right? Well, went and got the cleaning done in there. I still have to bring some stuff out of the trailer. There's some gas cans I don't really think need to be in there, and there's a flat screen TV and a DVD player that I'm probably not going to use, period, or especially this trip, because I don't really plan on watching any TV, because either I'm going to be out exploring or I'm going to be recovering and sleeping. So if I do use my computer, it's not going to be hooked up to the TV, so not planning on doing much editing, maybe some social medias and some posting links if I can get a Wi-Fi signal, because I really don't want to have to run off the data on my phone, but I guess it is what it is. Check the generator if it'll run the AC, and plugged her on in, fired her up, and the AC must have a cycle to it where it has to like cool down first or warm up first, and then it kicks on, and then starts cooling, and the generator lugged down, revved up, and worked fine. So it was starting to cool down that trailer really nice when I shut the AC off. And then I aired up the trailer tires, and again using my pancake air compressor from my framing nailer that I used to have, but I kept a compressor because, well, it's a nice, what is it, 5 gallon or something size? Maybe not 5, it's a pancake one. And it's just a nice size, worked very well. I've used it for almost anything and everything. And used the generator once again to power it, and it worked great. So we got water, we got tires, we got propane, we got cleaning done, we have basic housekeeping done. Give her another touch on the housekeeping, like making the bed and putting some final things away, taking some stuff out I'm not going to use. Either one of these days here, I wouldn't mind to fire up the fridge to see if it still gets cold, but there's no reason why I wouldn't think it wouldn't get cold, or you know whatever, right? So I'd like to do a test to see how much propane the fridge uses in 24 hours to run. I don't think it'll use a whole 20-pound tank in 24 hours because it's not really a high consuming item, but again, you never know. And once that's all done, pretty much just waiting for the time to go. Like I did mention, I'm not sure if I'm going to leave a week early or if I'm going to leave in the time I said I was gonna, because, well, I found a couple of stops on the way to the starting point that I might stop at, because, you know, it might not be right away I get back to them to do, and if I'm driving past them, why not stop? Plus, once I get to the other side of Edmonton, which will be about 4.5 hours or so, I probably should stop for fuel, because my next stop after that is about another 3 hours, and given the fuel mileage of the truck pulling a trailer based on what I did in my trip to Drumheller, I'll need fuel before I get to my destination. So, you know, we'll kind of deal with that one as it goes. Kind of one step at a time, one day at a time, getting things done piece by piece. I'm sure glad that I'm going through my checklist now and dealing with issues like the water pump, issues like the adapter for the generator, issues like getting things fixed or set up, because if I waited to the last minute, that little $20 adapter for the generator would have been catastrophic, because you're out the middle of nowhere, go to use your Jenny, and you can't use it because your adapter doesn't work. The whole point of the generator is not to run the trailer per se, it's to run the AC. It's to run the AC so it can cool the trailer down so I can be comfortable, especially if it's going to be really, really hot. That's the whole point of it. And to have a power supply to run certain things if the need arises where I need to stay a night or two in where I call the side of the road, you know, where I'm not in a campsite, which I am planning to be a few attractions away from a campsite, not every night in a campsite. But pretty much, guys, gonna go in, get on with the evening. Feeling a little rough, not sure if I'm gonna have a nap, but we'll play it by ear and then see what happens. Hello internets, here we are. We come to the end of a good, busy day. It was a good sort of first day back after a bit of downtime, but it wasn't quite as bad as the last downtime I had, so I guess we could count that as a blessing. Well, this afternoon after I did my last update, I was feeling a little wrecked from, well, all the crawling around in the dirt, kneeling, checking tire pressures, moving and lifting and stress of the day. So I ended up crashing for, I think it was 3 hours or so. Had me essentially asleep because really I only sleep about 2.5, 3 hours anyways as it is a night, so really it's kind of like an afternoon sleep or whatever you want to call her. Woke up feeling pretty refreshed. Ended up deciding to take advantage of our beautiful plus 21 Celsius day finally, and took a walk in the park, and so far I don't feel as wrecked as I did the last time I walked in the park, so we could count that as a blessing, a bonus maybe. Maybe, you know, a combination of a few things in my life are starting to work out a bit maybe, and things are going to turn around a bit. Hopefully. It's been a while, it's been a long while, and it'd be nice to start living again instead of just, you know, being here. So of course, after the walk in the park, I came home, relaxed for a little bit, and made me some supper, and really here we are now. Just got a PVR show on the old TV watching here. Decided to do a bit of an update. Either tomorrow or the next day whenever I'm rowing again. Hopefully I don't crash too much. I'm going to go back out to the trailer and bring another 3 or 4 items that I don't need in the trailer, in the apartment here. You know, like I mentioned earlier, I believe there was the TV and the DVD player. I don't really think I'll ever use in there, to be honest, so there's really no point in having it in there. It's just potential of getting broke when, if it does still work, because it's been in there for, well, the guy said he never took it out, so it's been in there for probably the best part of probably 5 years. How long has flat screen TV's been around, right? And it's bounced around when he pulled it, and bounced around a couple times when I've pulled it, so you never know, right? It might not even work. And like I said, there was some gas cans and some odds and ends that I'm not really going to need to go or to take with me. Still debating if I should buy one of those headlamp thingies. I still haven't yet. I found one at Canadian Tire that was $49, but it was 620 lumens, which is, you know, fairly decent, I guess. It's a drop in the bucket compared to some of the other ones I've seen online out there. I didn't check at Home Depot, and the Princess Auto only had 200 lumens for almost the same price, so depends on the weight of the one at Canadian Tire and how many batteries it takes, or the power supply. I might go back and pick it up because, well, it might come in handy for side of the road things, or maybe I'll find a few other things to look at that happen to be dark whether it's underground or so some things. Like I did mention the other day about cutting those 3 hikes out of my route, so the underground things aren't part of the agenda, but you never know. There might be some hidden things that aren't on the internet that I can dig up to find to look at. So we'll have to play things by ear. It is what it is, and around we go. Thanks for joining me on this wonderful vlog for this wonderful day. We'll see how she is, and we'll catch you all tomorrow. And as always, thanks for watching Maxwell's Vlogs. Comment, subscribe, and enjoy.